Good morning, and it's sourdough day. So I'm going to kick off today, and we're all going to start with a starter. That's where it's all at. So I'm going to try to be concise, which you might say for you, Jason, it's quite difficult, but I'll do my very best because it's important. It's a simple process, but it's important to get the key information. So that's what we're going to look at today. So our starter, this one's going now, has been going now for a couple of weeks, and we're going to get this ready to go. So this is the powerhouse. This is the equivalent to yeast in normal bread making. So what we're going to do is we're going to discard 70 grams, and the reason I'm discarding 70 grams is because I'm going to put 70 grams in, because that's how much I'm going to use in the recipe. So let's actually, I mean, if you discarded 60, it doesn't really matter. I just want to make sure that there's enough in there to do the bread at the end of the, when we actually come to do it. So let's have a look. So there's 50, let's have a look. And this one, you might think yours looks quite thick looking. Well, the reason that is, because I did feed it last night, this particular one, so it's still active, to be fair. So 60, there we go, 70 grams, exactly 70 grams. That's brilliant. So like I said before, you can keep that, stick it in the fridge and use it for something else, and just wait till it kind of amass it, and then use it for something, or discard it. Just make sure you discard it with cold water and rinse it off, because I think the problem is when you go in the dishwasher, this has stopped working. You know, typical of all the times my scales need to stop working, it's now. Let's have a go. Oh, what's happened? Right. There we go. Slight malfunction, but not to worry, we won't be deterred. Probably needs new set of batteries in there. So let's go. We're at there. I think it's a 0 that doesn't want to do its thing. There we go, we're back. I'll change the battery. So I'm going to put 35 grams of flour. And then just to let you know, there's still some in there. So you know, we kind of were maintaining about 100 grams just to make it easy to get around, but that's fine. So let's 0 that. And we want 70 grams, so 35 grams of flour. 28. If it's a bit more, it really doesn't matter. Just get your equal amount in. That's 35, brilliant. And 35 grams of water. So that's our 70 grams. And there we go. 60, 70 grams, 69. A bit more in there. I tell you what, I've just put 5 grams more in. So what am I going to do? I'm going to put 5 more flour in. Right, it's early morning. I've not got myself properly woken up yet. So there we go, I've compensated. Like I said, as long as it's equal quantities, it doesn't really matter that much. The amount doesn't matter that's in there. So what we're going to do, give it a mix just so there's no dry flour. As we've said over and over on our starters, no need to give it a good, just scrape it all down so it's all in there. And that is our starter prepared for the big event, which is making sourdough today. So what I've said before, and I said I'm going to try and be concise, which I am. Right, I get that off. That's brilliant. Get myself a little cloth for my fingers. That's brilliant. So there we go. That's our starter done. So that'll just sit around now till I'm ready. So effectively, what we're going to look for. What am I looking for? I'm looking for now. You probably can't see because the jar's that dirty. I'm going to discard this jar, swap it over into a clean one, and so I can actually see what's going on. But it's where that rubber band is, basically. Just slightly, that's right there. So what's going to happen with this? It will rise and it'll become very bubbly, and in about 6 hours time I'm going to use this to make the bread. So that's our starter prepared, done, ready to go. I'm also going to do one with my older starter. So this is my brand new one, unused, so this is its virgin maiden voyage. So we'll see how this one goes. But to measure, I've got my old starter, which I'm gonna feed now as well, but not on camera because I don't need to show you that as well. And exactly the same process, and we'll compare the two and just see how the difference between a mature one and a weak one. So that's that done, ready to go. I am using Canadian white flour. You need a strong flour for making sourdough, so I'm just going to squiz through what we actually need. So we need some strong white flour. I'm using the Canadian stuff because it's high in protein, 40.5%. It's considered one of the better ones for sourdough. There are others that you can use, but this is Matthews Cotswold I'm using, and it is, you know, it's a recognised good, decent make for making your sourdough. As it's the main ingredient, it's pretty important to get some decent flour. So that's that. You need to set the scales, obviously. Better if they work as well. I've changed the battery. Some of the things that are going to be useful: temperature probe. Why? At least you know, it can tell you what the room temperature is. So just switching the thing on in here, it's 17.2, 3, 4. It's going up. So it just actually tells me what the ambient temperature is. So unless you've got a really good room thermometer, that's kind of handy. A bit good bit of kit. So other things I'm going to need for the process: I'm going to need some salt. I'm going to need some water. And equipment-wise, I need a bowl, as you would expect. Otherwise, it'll make a mess on your top. You're going to need to cook it. This is a 2-day process. Benetton basket. I'm using a round one. I think it's about 9 inches wide, 8-9 inches wide. Something I can measure and tell you exactly. It comes with a cap, which is useful. For the basket, you're going to need some rice flour. So I've got some rice flour there, or you can. I haven't used it yet, but I don't see any reason why you can't use fine semolina in there. It's exactly the same as rice flour. It's a gluten-free flour, so it won't cause a sticky mess. And that's the only thing you use it for in there, to get it out. And the last thing you can add, this is optional. You can, well, second last thing, it's a Dutch oven. But basically, this is not cast iron. It's aluminium, and it's just a pot for cooking in. And what that does is it basically traps the steam inside, helps with the crust on the sourdough. So that's optional, but that's what I'm going to be using. And the final thing, just before it goes in the oven, you score it with a baker's lame, which is a razor blade on a stick or a very sharp knife. So that's it. I try to be concise, which is difficult, but that's so. All we've essentially stripping everything back what I've said. We've just prepared our starter. That's just optional, going through just to show what you need at the beginning of the process. It's no good getting into it and think, oh well, I haven't got one of them. Well, you need to know at the beginning, don't you? It's all about preparation, isn't it? Preparation is key. You get your preparation right, and generally everything falls into place. So get your preparation right. So we've prepared our starter, and we'll be back in about 6 hours, something like that. There's no rush with sourdough. That's the whole point. It's a slow process. So I'm going to be making bacon a loaf tomorrow night. So just to put things in perspective. So that's it. You don't have to start on the morning, but we'll come to that at a different time. Sourdough starter prepared. Stage 1 done. Take that off your list. Bye for now.